What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with my first guitar lesson for Summer Strummin 2021, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button, and if you want a chance to win this guitar, check out the description for more details. Guys, the first thing you should want to know to play Good For You on guitar is that in order to get to some bar chords and keep this song as beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 2nd fret. And if you don't have a capo, I'll have a link to get this capo right up here. The next thing that you want to know to play Good For You on guitar is the structure of this song. We'll start with the verse, then go to chorus, then verse and chorus again, then we're going to have a bridge, and we'll finish up the song with one last chorus. And the last thing that you want to know before we dive into Good For You is the 5 chords that you need to play this song. The first one is C, the next one is G, the next one is D, the next one is E minor, and the last one is A. And I'll have short chord tutorials for all of those linked in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And with all that in mind, guys, let's dive into Good For You. Man, Good For You is such a jam, and it definitely feels like it's one of the hottest songs of the summer this year in 2021. So I've gotten a ton of requests to teach this song, and I've definitely been wanting to teach it, so I'm so stoked to share it with y'all. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at for Good For You is what we're playing for our verses. And for our verses, we're going to keep it pretty simple, and we're going to match up with that little bass line that repeats throughout all of our verses. It's pretty straightforward. All of that is going to be on the A string right here, and we'll break it down in a pretty simple tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here with a 2nd fret on the A string. We're going to pick that and we're going to slide it up to 7th fret relative to the capo, also on the A string. So we'll hit that 2nd fret on the A string and slide it way up here to the 7th fret relative to the capo, or not relative to the capo. That's the true 9th fret, if that helps you out, kind of keep your place. So that's our first move right there. 2nd slide to 7th, just about like that. And then we're going to pick 7th again, little pause, and then we're going to go 7th and 5th pretty quick. And that's our first little sequence there. Again, 2nd slide to 7th, pick 7th, little pause, 7th again, and then 5th. And we're going to repeat that 3 times, and then we're going to move on to this last part here of this picking pattern, which is 2nd again on the A string, slide to 3rd. We're going to pick 3rd again, little pause here, and then 3rd again, and then 2nd. And we're going to only play that through once. And we'll repeat that whole entire thing all the way through all of our verses, just like that. That first little section 3 times, that last section just once. And that'll repeat through all of our verses, and that'll match up really well with what's being played on the bass. So one little walkthrough of all of that together. We're going to start here a 2nd fret on the A string, slide to 7th. 7th again, little pause, 7th, 5th. We'll repeat that another time. 2nd slide to 7th, 7th again, little pause, 7th again, 5th. And one last time through that first section, 2nd slide to 7th, 7th again, little pause, 7th again, 5th. And then we're on to that last section, 2nd slide to 3rd, 3rd again, and then we're going to do a little pause, 3rd again, and finish up with one more 2nd on the A string. And we're just going to repeat that through all of our verses, and it'll match up with what's being played on that little bass line. Obviously, we're a little higher because we're playing this on guitar, but it'll match up perfectly note for note with what's being played on bass. So with all that in mind, guys, pretty straightforward. This isn't a too terribly complicated picking pattern, so I'm not going to do a slow playthrough, but a couple of times through that picking pattern, it's going to match up with the bass on Good For You, and the verses will look about like this without me talking. From there, guys, we're into what's being played for our choruses. For our choruses on Good For You, we're going to have a couple chord progressions and a couple strum patterns to go along with them. Now, this is kind of a lot to remember, but it really isn't too terribly difficult. It's all beginner-friendly chords and pretty beginner-friendly chord progressions. The biggest thing is just remembering all of this. So whenever the notes pop up on the screen here in a second, be sure to take a screenshot or maybe just take some notes in a notebook or whatever you're into, just so you can remember what goes where in this, because it is just kind of a lot to remember. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this first section first, that top chord progression with that strum pattern situation. Don't worry, we're going to walk through this chord by chord. I know that probably looks pretty intimidating. So our chord progression first for that first section is going to be C, G, D, and then in parentheses we have D, E minor, back to D, and C. There's a reason those are in parentheses. We'll get there in just a second. You can probably see those got a little bit of a different strum pattern underneath them. Again, we'll walk through this chord by chord. All of the chords that are not in parentheses will use this strum pattern. I'm going to use my C chord as an example. It's our first chord, so we'll go down, 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 up, once for each one of the chords that's not in parentheses. So let's walk through that. We'll start with the C chord. We'll go down, 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 up, G, down, 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 up, D, down, 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 up, and then that's going to bring us into the first parentheses there, the beginning of the parentheses chords. And as you might be able to tell or guess, we're going to use those little strum patterns that are underneath the chords in parentheses. This is a very quick transition part, and we use shortened strum patterns here because we're not playing those chords for the full measure that we're playing for the chords that are not inside of parentheses. That may sound confusing, but simply explained, the chords outside of the parentheses will get that full strum pattern, then the chords within the parentheses will just get the strum that's underneath the chord relative to the chord that it's under. So let's break this down chord by chord. That D chord is the first chord in the parentheses, which we're already on that D chord because we just finished up the full measure of the D chord outside of the parentheses. For that first D chord, we're going to go down, up, down. Then very quickly to E minor, we're going to do an up strum, back to D and another up strum, and then back to C and another up strum. And then we'll be very quickly back into the first C at the beginning of the entire chord progression. So the biggest challenge with this part right here is just that last part in the parentheses is very, very fast. It's a really quick transition. So what I recommend and what I did when I was learning this song is just to work on playing that part very slowly and then work on building up your speed as you get it down. That's going to be the best way to get that part down because the transitions there, especially for a beginner, are going to be pretty quick. So that's going to be our first section, and we're going to repeat that section 4 times before we move on to the second section. So we'll get to that second section in just a second. Let's do one more walkthrough of the entire first section together. Start with that C chord. We've got down, 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 up, G, down, 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 up, D, down, 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 up, stay on D, down, up, down, E minor, up, D, up, C, up, and then we'll repeat all of that 4 times. And obviously that's a little bit quicker whenever we're playing at full speed, but we'll get there in just a minute. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is that second section that we play for our choruses. So after we've played that top section 4 times, we'll transition into this next section, which we're going to play twice. Our chord progression for the section 2 of choruses will be E minor, D, and A. That's where the A comes in there. Now, nothing too crazy there chord progression-wise, but again, this is a little bit on the quick side as far as transition goes. Not quite as fast as that section that's in parentheses for the first part of the chorus, but still a little bit quick. So again, we have a situation here where we're going to be using a different strum pattern for each chord. So let's break this down chord by chord. For our E minor there, we're going to go down, 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 up, and then we'll have a little pause. We'll go to D, and we're going to do 2 up strums for that one. Up, up, and then we go to our A, and we're going to go up, down, up. Just about like that. Or a little closer to full speed. Down, 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 up, D, up, A, up, down. Just about like that. Transitions weren't quite full speed there, but that's what the strumming full speed will look like. And we're going to repeat that twice. So nothing too crazy there. If you've gotten this far, that'll be no challenge. It is a little bit on the fast side though, but that will play twice through to take us out of the chorus and into the next part of the song, depending on what part of the song we're on right there. So that's the entire chorus. We're gonna play that first little section there at the very top. We'll play that 4 times. And then after we're finished with that, we'll go to that second section and we'll play that twice, and that will take us out of the chorus. And that is just gonna play, that whole thing will play once through for each chorus. So nothing too crazy here, guys. Some fairly quick transitions and a little bit funky strum patterns, but this is all stuff that with a little practice a beginner could get no problem. So guys, again, that only plays through once for each chorus, but I am actually gonna go ahead and play through that a couple times just so that you can make sure you have all the right stuff in all the right places and have some time to play along with me. But a couple times through those chord progressions and those strum patterns that will play through once for each chorus on Good For You will look about like this without me talking. Finally, guys, the last thing that you want to know to play Good For You on guitar is what we're playing for our bridge. For our bridge, we're going to have 2 very simple chord progressions and 2 very simple strum patterns to go along with them. This is probably the easiest part of the song, and in my opinion, also one of the most fun parts of the song as well. The chorus is pretty fun as well. So the first thing we'll take a look at is that first chord progression, which is going to be an E minor, D, and A. We'll repeat that 4 times before we move on to the next chord progression. We'll get to that next chord progression here in just a second. For each chord, we're just going to be doing 2 quick and simple down strums for each one of those. So let's walk through it. We're going to start with the E minor. We'll do 2 down strums there. We'll go 1, 2. We're going to actually let that hang for just a little second there. We're going to let that E minor hang for 2 measures or twice as long as all the other chords. So we'll go E minor, D, A, just about like that. So down, 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 down. Down, 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 just about like that. So pretty much straight out, except for that E minor and the D will have a little bit of space there, but just 2 quick down strums followed by some pauses, and that'll match up really well with what's being played in that part of the song. So we'll repeat that 4 times, and then we go to the next line, which is going to be very similar. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play that E minor for 2 measures. So we'll have E minor, and then E minor again, and then D, and A. But what we're going to be doing this time is 4 down strums for each chord, and there won't be any space in between each one. It's going to be a build into that last chorus. So if you're familiar with the song, you probably already know what this kind of sounds like to build this, but walking through that, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all just building down strums into that last chorus. And same thing there, we're going to repeat that 4 times, and that will lead us into that last chorus, build us into that last chorus. So one more little walkthrough of all of that together. Start that first line, we got E minor, so we'll go down, down, little pause, D, down, 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 down. We'll repeat that 4 times. And then we go to that second line, we've got E minor, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to repeat 4 times as well, leading into that last chorus of the song. And that will only play through once as well. We don't repeat that at all. It just plays once through for the whole entire bridge. So guys, nothing too crazy here. Pretty straightforward, just simple chord progressions, simple strum patterns with this. Probably the easiest part of the song, but also a lot of fun and very jammy as well. So with that in mind, once all the way through the chord progressions and the strum patterns that we're going to be using for our bridge on Good For You will look about like this without me talking. guys, that is everything that you need to know to play Good For You on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helps you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 850 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel. I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new lessons every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there cannot be a more perfect channel for you to check out. If you want to get a sneak peek of what songs I'm working on next, be sure to hit up my Instagram at @thegroovyguitardude. And lastly, guys, if you want to support this channel and get your name in the credits at the end of each new guitar tutorial, you can hit up my Patreon at patreon.com/thegroovyguitardude. Link for that will be in the description below as well. Guys, Guitar Goddess and I are so stoked to be jamming along with y'all for this year's Summer Strummin 2021. And what a perfect song for us to jam together on this beautiful Journey guitar that you could have a chance to win. Be sure to hit up the description below for more details on how you could win this guitar, literally this exact guitar. Good For You is an awesome song. I've been meaning to get to this song for like weeks since this first came out, but I actually thought about it and I was like, this would be a perfect first Summer Strummin song for this year because, man, this is already looking like it's going to be one of the main jams for summer of 2021. So this song is super fun to play. The chords are very beginner friendly if you play with it capoed up like that, so you don't have as many bar chords. The only thing that's tricky about this song is there's some fast transitions in the chorus and some funky strumming in the chorus. But other than that, this is actually a very beginner-friendly song. It's a great one for Summer Strummin because Summer Strummin is all about connecting with beginner guitarists and connecting with other guitar teachers. And I know Guitar Goddess, Michelle, and we love teaching songs in a very beginner-friendly way. And this is one of those cool songs that sounds complicated, but this is a great beginner-friendly way to play this. Even if you're just getting started on guitar, this will still be a little challenging because it is fast in some parts. There are some tricky transitions and some funny strumming, but all of the chords in this and all of the strumming in this is things that beginners can play no problem, just with a little practice. So guys, I had a lot of fun learning this song. I hope you guys have a lot of fun learning it as well, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.